You might think these mountains look a bit plain, but think twice, because I had one of the best travel experiences right here in the Shigar Valley. Here you'll find historic mosques blending art and religion, 300-year-old fortresses, and a welcome as warm as a comforting bowl of ballet. What's ballet? Keep watching to find out. For those of you who are new here, my name's Tim. I love traveling and I've been to more than 50 countries. But there's something about Pakistan that keeps bringing me back. Join me along this ride for the Pakistan Traveller series, where I share my favorite places, food and culture from the country that I love the most. After a hearty breakfast at the Amburiq guest house, we set out into the historic town of Shigar. The first stop was at the Khanqah-e-Mualla, a 400-year-old seminary made of mud and wood. Nowadays it's a mosque, and walking around it was certainly a treat. All carved wood ceilings and walls. Real living history. Nearby is the polo ground. The sport of kings is played in northern Pakistan throughout most of the year, but it was on a break while we were there due to the mourning month of Muharram. Zishan Amacha, our host at the Amacha guest house, actually played polo here on this pitch. About another 20 minutes walk down the road towards another attraction, and we were greeted by a friendly local man who offered to show us around the Amburiq Mosque. The Amburiq Mosque was built in the 14th century and is UNESCO World Heritage listed due to its history as one of the first mosques in the Baltistan region. It was founded by builders who accompanied Shah Ali Hamdan, a preacher from what was then Persia, modern-day Iran, and restored in the 1990s. It was Shah Ali Hamdan who brought Islam to this previously Buddhist region. Note how the architecture blends Islamic, Kashmiri, and Tibetan influences, again all carved wood and turreted rooflines, a real expression of the mixing of cultures and styles, of art and religion. This mosque is affiliated with the Nurbakshiya tradition, a minority school of Islamic thought which is not really common outside of Baltistan and Ladakh. We'll learn more about that when we visit elsewhere in Baltistan, so stay tuned. Next, it was off to the Shigar Fort. This fort was built in the 17th century by the Amacha dynasty, the local rulers. In recent years, parts of the fort have been converted into a heritage hotel by the Aga Khan Development Network. It is currently run by Pakistan's luxury Serena Hotel Group, which means that you can actually stay the night in the lap of luxury in a 17th century fort in the Himalayas. Free tours are operated around the public parts of the fort, and I'd highly recommend it. It's such an insight into the history of this proud corner of Baltistan. Seriously, the woodwork in this region is simply stunning. Look at the carved ceilings. The tour guides are so knowledgeable. Shout out to my guide Arsalan here. Also on display was the original jewelry of the rulers, other artifacts, poetry, and pottery. There is a small mosque and of course the guest rooms, which are off limits to day visitors like us, unless there is one which isn't occupied, in which case we were taken through the room and wow, let's just say that spending the night at the Serena Shigar Fort has been added to my bucket list. There's a restaurant downstairs with a spacious and green courtyard, but by far the loveliest place in the gardens was the Baraderi, a garden pavilion once used by the royal family for whiling away their afternoons amid a moat and beds of manicured flowers. This is open to the public and was a favorite selfie spot. But by now it was mid-afternoon. The town center of Shigar was bustling and we were off to meet a friend. We just left the fort and we're walking along this path to a friend's place, and we just ran into a local guy who wanted to get to know us and then gave us some of his apricots. And they're not just normal apricots, they're actually white apricots. They're sort of like a bit sweeter or a bit lighter in flavor or something. So nice. Apricots in hand, we continued along for afternoon tea with our friend and her lovely dogs. Shigar sometimes feels like a little slice of heaven, ducks waddling alongside the road. Oh, and good food too. A late lunch at the One Season restaurant. Chicken kebabs while seated alongside one of the tributaries of the Shigar River. Heading back to the guest house, the sun was still up and our host, Auntie Hasina, was cooking dinner, so we lazed around the garden picking fruit to eat off the trees. When dinner arrived, it was spectacular, a traditional Balti feast. To start with, bale, a warming noodle soup. So we're tasting here the traditional Balti specialty bale, which is basically a chicken noodle soup. The noodles are handmade and everything. Take a look at this, if you can. There you go. And this is like so warming. I can imagine in the middle of like the cold winters up here in the mountains, this would just be like a little bowl of comfort. It's so good, and it's kind of like a bit salty, a bit savory. It's sort of really well balanced, and it's really hearty as well. I love it. You said that your mother, this took her 1 hour to make this? That's really impressive. I'll be asking for more. And then prapu, a type of local pasta in a slightly spicy walnut sauce. And this is basically Balti pasta.
Kind of pasta.
Okay, and what else is in it? Is it like creamy? I can see.
It's butter and walnut paste.
Oh. Simply divine. I cannot tell you how delicious this food was. I'm still dreaming of tasting it again, and it would be worth going all the way back to Shigar just for Auntie Hasina's cooking. And then all washed down with some green tea, as is customary in this region. I was just about to say something about how good the food is, and then we have the lady responsible for all of this. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत मजेदार खाना है. No, वो basically आपने सब बनाई?
जी जी.
अच्छा माशाल्लाह. और कितना टाइम लगेगा?
बस टाइम तो लगता है इसमें खाना हमारे देसी खाना हम ताज़ा बनाते हैं ना.
हाँ जी.
टाइम तो लगता है.
So basically she's saying yes, she made it all herself and it takes time because it has to be made fresh. You can't store it. I still can't get over the incredible hospitality, the kindness of Auntie Hasina, Zishan and the whole family, and in fact everyone we met in Shigar. And also the blending of cultures, how Tibetan, Islamic, Kashmiri all come together to create this intoxicating brew called Shigar. This is what traveling in Pakistan is like, especially if you know the right places, what to do there, and how to get there. And that's exactly what my book, Pakistan Traveller, is all about. It's got everything from famous attractions, transport and hotels, right through to historical insights, cultural tips, and insider advice. You can get your copy by clicking the link in the video description below. And there's so much more to discover. Check out some of my other vlogs. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be part of my dunya.